Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Woolley Geek episode 3. I've got not too huge of an episode for you tonight. I think everything is going to be a little bit shorter than last week. Last week we ran almost an hour, but then again, it was also after 1 in the morning. It's 11:25 on Friday, December. Oh, heck. What day is today? 8th? 9th? I don't know. It's episode 3. It's Friday. That's all I know. When I'm not at work, I tend to lose track of what day it is. Been busy all day long. Actually made 2 dinners tonight because I could. I don't know. We had some leftover shrimp that our roommate graciously brought home from a family function, and I made shrimp fried rice with it. Um, the dear husband wasn't in the mood for shrimp, so I made him enchiladas. So yeah, I made 2 dinners tonight. So, yeah, kitchen's a mess right now. We're not even going to get to that until after the podcast. Probably going to throw some more dishes in the dishwasher in the morning. I think I'm done for the night, really. Totally. Let's just jump right in to works in progress because I have no FOs this week. I have none, again, but not for lack of trying. I really did try. I am still working on the Celtic Lux bet, and I've got this much of a draft left on one section, and then I've got this. That's maybe, I don't know, a little over an ounce of fiber left out of the 4 ounces, so really it's not much left. I'll probably finish this up tonight before I go to bed. I actually just emptied my spindle. This is the spindle that I use, by the way, in case you don't know. I'll have to go through my Etsy and find the shop again that I ordered this spindle from because it was great. It's a really well balanced beginner's top whirl spindle that I got at Etsy. Um, and the lady, she actually built it as a beginner's spindle for right about 20 bucks, I believe it was. She also included um, some natural wool for I think it was Jacob or something like that. She doesn't tell you what the wool is. It's whatever she has on hand. But just some natural wool to practice with. So I got some practice. I actually still have that first wool. It's so thick. But I had that first wool and I was getting better, but I was basically like completely drafting before I was putting it on the spindle and just putting twists into it, but I was not drafting on the fly. Basically I wasn't doing it right. And so, as I said, in I want to say my first episode, I got the Craftsy class from Fluff to Stuff by Drusilla Pettibone, and she's very, very cool because she's a real shepherdess, and I think that's wicked awesome. But I learned about drafting on the fly from her because visually seeing her do it as she was explaining it, and she explains very well how to do it. um, yeah, I seem to have found my rhythm tonight. So I still have some thick bumps in there and some really, really cobweb thin sections. Um, but I'm getting better. I don't care. I'm not, that's the one thing is I am not financially committed to the fiber that I buy. I buy fiber right now as inexpensively as I can get it because I am in a learning curve. I don't expect to get any usable yarn out of this, although I probably will knit with some of this yarn because I'm proud of it. I might not knit anything really good out of it. I may swatch gauge with it because I don't swatch a lot. Oh, excuse me. I was not expecting that yawn to happen. I did wear myself out today. But yeah, it's a learning curve. And every time I take some yarn off the spindle, I start fresh. I've already put that on my nitty knotty and hanged it up and I start fresh. So, um, you know, I don't worry about it. trying to match it with what I've already done yet. Just learning. Speaking of just learning, I am, well, I'll get to that in a minute. Other work in progress right now, let me actually pull it out from under this mess here. I am working on, move this over, my, I had not yet casted on my Candy Apples yarn from Apothecary Yarns. I love it. It wasn't until after I started working with it and it feels so luxurious that I realized that it was not only merino wool, but a little bit of cashmere as well as nylon. That's their classic sock. So it's very lovely. And let me just pull this out here. So I have some new toys this week. I think I mentioned last week I bought a ball winder. Excellent. Best thing I've ever bought. But here is, I don't know if I'm going to get a really, really good actual color of this, but this is the Candy Apples colorway. It's really gorgeous. We have, it's like a tonal, it's a variegated yarn, but the dark colors are kind of tonal, so it goes red, green, lighter color green, caramel color, and there's even some brighter yellow in there. So it's really just like a green apple that's either been dipped in caramel or that like red candy coating. So here's the back of the sock. And that's just regular, sock stitch, stockinette stitch. Um, the pattern that I'm doing is really pretty with this because I think it's not really so much the pattern is highlighted, although the pattern's really cool. Um, but it really, I think, highlights the variegation of color in the sock. And this is, well, no, the pattern looks really cool too. This is Euclid's Love by Laura Linneman, or better known as Lala from the Knit Girls. And I have got that much done. I need to go, I have a long foot, okay? And these socks are for me. I have a very long foot. I need to do about that much more before I get ready to turn for the heel. So that is my other work in progress right now, and I really have been pretty much concentrating on this. So my sweater and my clover color socks saw no love this week, and I do love these needles. I finally got my needles in for Magic Looping. I am knitting these on my brand new Knit Picks needles. These are the Knit Picks Dreams in a size, US size 1, which is 2.25 millimeters. This is the first time I've used these, and I ordered them from the Loopy U. They came really quickly. They are wood. They're very light, very, very delicate. Um, so I actually will probably be posting a review or do a separate podcast to review these needles. They're really delicate. I enjoy working with them. The join is very smooth. The cable is flexible yet has just enough bounce back. Um, so I'm really able to knit quickly with these, and I like these for that. And I love the lightweight wooden needles. However, I feel like I have to be so careful with them. And a friend of mine who is actually another podcaster who just moved back here from Seattle, and I'll talk about her in a minute. But she had a set that her significant other bought for her birthday, and they broke while she was knitting. So yeah, I don't know if she was just holding them too tightly, if maybe she had a bad set, but I am being very careful with these. But I do love them. So, they're very delicate, and I tend to be rough with things, so I am being very careful with these. It hasn't slowed down my knitting though, so that's good. So there's that, and I did not bring over my other works in progress because they really have seen no love this week. They are no further along than they were last week. But I do want to show you something cool. This kind of falls under my favorite things. I can't give you the exact dimensions, or I'm not sure if I can give you the exact dimensions because I don't want to get into any copyright thing with the class I'm taking on Craftsy. But I don't. If you spin, you know what a nitty nutty is. Basically, it's this. Let me try to get it in the camera frame. Basically, it's this, and this one is made out of PVC pipe. And if you purchase the Craftsy class, you are actually going to be given dimensions and instructions on how to make these. Literally, I made this for about, it was under $4. I don't remember exactly how much it was, but it was under $4. And Lowe's cut everything for me. Home Depot will cut stuff for you too. I mean, as long as they're not hugely busy, and this time of the year they can be. Um, but they they will cut stuff for you as long as you're not asking for like 50 pieces. So this was a 4 foot length of PVC pipe that I had cut down to, oh, and this is half inch. I don't know if I can get that in there or not. This is half-inch PVC pipe. And so I bought the one piece of PVC pipe. I bought four of these, if I can get one of these off, four of these little end caps, and which is really great because when you go to take your yarn off of the nitty notty, you just slide the end cap off and then the yarn just comes off really, really easy. And so I got about four of those, and I bought two of these little T connectors that go in there and hooks everything together. So really easy. I can take the pieces apart, throw it into a bag, and travel with it if I want to. Um, really, really love it. My little cheapy nitty notty, and eventually one day I might have a really beautiful handmade wood turned one. But until then, this is my favorite toy because I made it myself. I did. I made it, and it didn't cost me an arm and three legs. So, way to save some money there. Get you some PVC pipe, cut it, and this will do a like a 1 yard wrap, but you can make the middle part longer to get 2 yards with each go around. But this will do a yard. So I love that. I also had to show you guys something as we go into our favorite things. First of all, okay, favorite thing number one. Welcome back, Kiara Panther. She is the hostess of A Cat and Her Yarn podcast, and she hasn't podcasted in a while because she's been involved in moving from Seattle back to Georgia, where she's from. So Kiara and Mike have just this past week moved back. So last weekend I was at my husband and I went to the Welcome Back Kitty and the Gimp party. If anybody knows Kiara and Mike, Gimpy McGimperton, um, yeah, he's just a crazy, crazy, crazy guy. Crazy party. My husband and I got there pretty late to the party. We were only going to stay a short time, but then ran into another friend of ours whom we hadn't seen since we got married. So it ended up being a late night, such as it happens. But we have a great roomie who stayed home to keep an ear out for our sleeping child. And so we were able to stay a little bit late and hang out with some friends that we haven't seen in a very long time. So that was great. Also, this past weekend, somebody had her Santa pictures. And I just have to show you this because she is just a little sweetheart. And there she is with Santa Claus. Isn't she gorgeous? A little 5-year-old. Had to share that because that's just one of my favorite things. I love it every year. He's a really, really awesome Santa Claus, too. Really is. She has been sitting on his lap since she was a year old. So, ever since she was a year old, she's been on this guy's lap. And when she was very little, her very, very first Christmas, when she was only like 3 months old, she sat on the lap of this guy's dad at another ball. So, how cool is that? So anyway, there's that for some of my favorite things. Another favorite thing is Lisa from Fiber Nymph Dye Works. She's also known as Fiber Nymph on Plurk and Ravelry. I ordered some fiber from her Cyber Saturday. No, the Small Business Saturday, like Support Your Small Business Saturday. It was between Black Friday and Cyber Monday, basically. She had a big shop update that weekend. She just had another shop update, and there's still some good stuff in there as of earlier today. So do check that out. I have already published the show notes, and I do have her website on there. So there's a link to it. But I decided I wanted to order some fiber that I have never spun before. I've spun a lot of merino. I've spun some alpaca. Spun a lot of alpaca. I love alpaca. But I wanted to try to spin something new. So I have waiting to go on the spindle 100% blue face Leicester um, in the winter garden gradient, 4.25 ounces. And I don't mind telling you that she had the incredible price of $17 on this, which I thought was excellent for 100% BFL. And again, it came from Fiber Nymph Dye Works. And again, Lisa's known as Fiber Nymph on Ravelry and Plurk. So do check her out there. Got to see this. It's hard to see it in the bag, so I'm going to pull it out. Excuse my crinkle. It is gorgeous. This was part of my birthday, by the way. This was, look at this. Got this gorgeous, like, cranberry red color. And then this dark, kind of a Kelly green, I guess. And then it goes into this lighter green that's kind of blended with, I don't know, like sun-kissed green. It's got some, like, gold in it, I guess. 100% blue face Leicester. It's really soft. It's very, very squishy braid. And she does dye her own fibers. And I think she just did a fabulous job on this. It's truly inspired for the season. I love it. I love it. This color red is one of my favorite colors ever. And I love green. So I just really love this. It's gorgeous. Lisa, you have outdone yourself once again. And, you know, life happens. Life happens. There was a little bit of a mix-up in her shop recording a payment. And so she realized the inventory was deleted from her shop, but couldn't find, you know, payment confirmation. So she didn't ship this right away, and she felt so bad that of their mix-up, not hers, by the way. Big Cartel just had a little bit of a mix-up. It happens, it happens. You know, we are all slaves to technology, unfortunately. And I had other stuff going on too, and I read her Plurk, and I knew that she'd been extremely busy, so I just really didn't worry about it. But she sent me this wonderful apologetic email saying that she finally got everything sorted out, and she had my order out to me, and she felt so bad that it had been so long. I was like, that's fine, don't worry about it, big deal. Bless her heart, she sent me some nice little extras just to be a sweetie. She sent me two of her patterns. I don't know if you can see them or not because of the glare. She sent me her twisting and twining cowl because I'm totally into cows lately. And I guess she knew that. I don't know. But it's gorgeous. I can't wait to cast that on. And she also sent me this great hat called Call Before Digging. And it's really neat because she lives in Pennsylvania and there's a ton of underground cables and stuff. And so she basically had a cable stitch, a single cable in this, it looks like a 2x2 rib hat. I haven't totally read the pattern through, but that was really sweet. She also sent me these patterns in the sheet protectors so I can put them right into my 3-ring binder that I keep my patterns in. So thank you for those. They're beautiful. I can't wait to cast them on. She also sent me, as I disappear on you, she sent me 2 of her lovely little mini skeins. These mini skeins are Superwash Merino Nylon 80-20 blend. They are 100 yards each. And this is her bounce base. She sent me the colorway, tonal. These are tonals, bright green, lovely, and cranberry. 2 of my favorite colors, and colors that are in the cranberry. It's very close to the color that's in that Winter Garden Gradient fiber that I got BFL. So beautiful, beautiful. And they're little mini skeins. They're 100 yards a piece. And I know exactly what I'm going to make with these. I am going to knit up some ornaments with these. I don't know if I'm going to do snowflakes. I might do some snowflakes. I might do um, one of the little mini stockings. Yeah, that would be really cute too. So really, really great way for me to try out her bounce base. I've never used it before. Can't wait. And it is super wash merino nylon. I could make a pair of socks for Laura out of this too. So, I'm going to make some ornaments with this. Um, she also sent me, she knows I've got a little one at home, I guess. She also sent me a little baggie that had a couple of Dum Dum Pops in there, which my daughter just loves. And I could not wait to give those to her. So that was really sweet. So I don't have those to show because one's in the pantry. My daughter's already had one. Um, so yeah, thank you so much again, Lisa. This was just unexpected and beautiful and unnecessary, but greatly appreciated. So thank you. Moving along. Um, hmm. Wow. Lost my train of thought totally. Oh, I was in the middle of favorite things. Okay, another favorite thing. Star Wars: The Old Republic. Okay, we had an account. We had an account for a while. We suspended the account, really. We just stopped the account because the game had a lot of problems. You would get to a couple of points. Alderaan, for instance, really, really glitchy, really buggy. And it was just EA was so unprepared, I think, for the popularity of this game that they did not realize that their servers were going to get overloaded, and that happened. Still happens. It's still kind of a little bit laggy, but the game's now free. Um, they just had the ancient hyperspace wormhole thingy portal. I don't know. I forgot now all of a sudden. But you can actually now, you don't need an account to play anymore. I mean, well, you do, but you don't need to like pay for it. It is limited. If you play, for instance, I was just checking out a little bit ago. I haven't actually played yet, but not in a long time anyway. But I was just checking it out. If you want to choose a Jedi class, um, you only have two races unlocked. You can unlock another race, but you have to pay for it. Um, you're only allowed two characters, two tunes per server. So it's limited, but I'm happy with the limitations because it's not really my go-to game. So I'm really happy with the limitations right now. The graphics are beautiful. I do really love, and this is something that World of Warcraft doesn't really do that well, although they sort of started it with Mists of Pandaria where you can interact with a couple of the characters in there, the non-player characters. Excuse me, my own. Um, But the Star Wars: The Old Republic, not only are the graphics really pretty when they're not laggy and buggy, they're really great. But you can really interact with the quest lines and the non-player characters, the NPCs. So that's really interesting, and that's something that not a lot of games for the PC do. So we're excited about that. Speaking of games, we're leading into my next favorite thing. Let me make a little bit of room over here. Because I have a guest host this week. Actually, set this fiber up here. We are going to be reviewing Call of Duty Black Ops 2. And a big, big player of Call of Duty in the house is my husband Ryan. So he's going to co-host the Geek segment with us tonight. So if Ryan wants to come over, come on over, baby. I'll make some room for you. There you go. We'll turn the camera just a little bit. This is my husband Ryan, and he is the Call of Duty player. And we're going to be talking about Black Ops 2. Okay. So are you ready? You ready? Okay. So Black Ops, by the way, is gosh, who makes the game? Is it? It's not Blizzard. Is it? And it's not EA. Who makes the game?
Well, the first one was Triarch, and the actually. I can't think of the second
Okay, so it's actually a conglomerate of two different game developers then.
one. It's Triarch. Okay, it's Triarch.
Oh, okay. So it's Treyarch. Um, and Black Ops 2, this is the second installment of Black Ops, but they've got
Right.
other flavors
It's
of the
set in
game.
2024, so it's slightly in the future. The first one was
Oh,
actually set
I
during the
didn't know that.
60s.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Right. They jumped way ahead.
They did. Because I know, like, what was the last one that you were playing? It wasn't Black Ops
Modern Warfare 3.
Elite, Modern Warfare 3. Okay.
Right.
Because that one was that's the one that seemed to be set in current times. I know a lot of the maps and stuff were in the Middle East,
Well, it's
right?
Modern Warfare, so it's set currently.
Mm. So wait, Modern Warfare and Call of Duty are two different games then.
They're it's the same game type. There's two different versions by two different companies.
Oh, gotcha. Okay,
Right.
so two totally different games, but same kind of thing.
Right.
Okay, I really thought that they were just flavors of the same game, so it is two different games.
Right.
Okay. Um, what is it? What's epic about Black Ops that you really like?
Well, I mean, they have a point-based customization system for kill streaks, and the loaded options are a lot more variable, so you really get a good feel of what you can do.
Is it easier to prestige to
Oh yeah,
level up to prestige?
it's so much faster.
Explain what a prestige is. Is
When you prestige it, it resets your level, but you also get tokens that allow you to have more options.
so you can purchase more guns, more equipment, things like that,
Right, you can
right?
start with a weapon that you wouldn't get till you're almost done with the first prestige. So we purchased a gun that you couldn't get to level 42, and you only get to level 55.
Okay, and what level are you at when you prestige for the first time?
55.
55. Okay, so you go 55 levels and then you find yourself back at level 1, but you have more of a choice to
Right, and
customize your
you can
character
actually
then.
prestige your weapons this time. And if you don't prestige them, if you leave them where they are when they're maxed out, when you roll over, they have all the loadout options that you had when you finished the previous prestige, which is not available on any other game.
Hmm.
So that's definitely a
Now that
positive.
I
So
didn't
you
know.
can start out with your sight that you want, and the options you want with the guns.
Now, has there been anything about the game that you just kind of wanted to go to the game developers at Treyarch and go, what were you thinking? Or this is kind of the segment that B and I came up with called WTF.
Well, WTF on this game is if your connection speed is anything under good, which good would be a 4 marginal 3.
Okay.
Um, you're at least a half a second behind everybody else, sometimes over a second, which basically means you're just instantly dead as soon as somebody sees you because you see you long before you see them, regardless of whether it looks like they're looking the other direction.
That does sound frustrating. That actually kind of
Well,
sounds
when
like
you
a
run up behind
fail.
somebody and they're looking the other direction and they spin and shoot you before you can do anything, even though it shows on your screen that you shot them in the back 15 times, yeah, it's kind of frustrating.
You know what I think's a win about this game? Because I don't play it. It's military war games aren't really my thing. I'm more of a fantasy RPG gamer. But what I like about this is when you have the surround sound system on the television
Right.
and your headphones on, and you're chatting with our friends that live in Chicago or Indianapolis area. I
It's
I can
Joliet. They're
hear
in
them.
Joliet.
They're in Juliet. Oh, okay, yeah.
Right. West side Chicago.
I can hear them. They can hear me, so we can all have a conversation,
Well,
and
it's
I
the
think
way I have the audio set
I
up.
think that's cool.
We've got a smart Samsung TV that if you hook the sound up correctly through it and you have surround sound, you can run headphones and speak through the television. So it's a perk of the
So it's
TV.
actually the television
Right.
picking
It's the
up and
TV.
not
It's
the
not the game.
microphone on your Turtle
Right.
Beaches. Oh,
No, it's the TV.
by the way, those Turtle Beach headphones are they're awesome.
Yeah.
I know I griped about them when you first bought them because they are expensive, but premium headphones, especially when you game, are worth it. These that he has, real they're big, they're over the ear ones, but they're very comfortable.
Well,
They
even
muffle
with
the
regular surround
sounds.
sound, you don't get elevation,
Hmm.
point of direction as well,
Hmm.
and anything as far as specific from where things are coming from. If someone shoots from across the board, you can tell where the bullet came from.
Right.
Whereas on surround sound, you get kind of an idea, but it's not specific.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're really good. Um.
Once they get the connection speed bugs because if they, I guess they have a prestige hack going on right now that
Hmm.
they've been trying to work out, which is why the servers have been kind of bogged down because they're trying to weed out the people that are running it. Once that gets figured out, it, I'm sure the game will be a lot better.
Yeah, that's the problem with games like that too. They tend to attract hackers and people running light switches and things like that.
I mean,
So that's
you're going
kind
to
of a
counter that on
problem.
any shooter,
Yeah,
and
it's just I don't know if it's just the
that's a
type of
hardware thing that they
person that
can't
it
deal with.
encounters
All they can
or
do is
what.
ban them for a certain amount of time. That's all they
Right.
can do.
Yeah. Permaband. If you actually, if you've watched, I've missed the Guild, Felicia Day's The Guild, the past couple weeks. The last episode I saw Gort got permabanned from the game, which I thought was just hilarious. Um,
Naughty.
yeah. No, it. Well, yeah, you have to watch because he's a little crazy. But anyway, um, what is about Black Ops 2 that you would say was an absolute epic fail that you wish when they come out with another one or they patch this one, what would you like to see go away?
Um, honestly, the your options for an automatic assault rifle are trash. There's really
Really?
not a really good fire rate per damage weapon that's automatic. That's not a submachine gun, which means you're sacrificing range for efficiency. So on a large map, you're forced to run a three shot or a four shot gun unless you're running a specific site that zooms you into the point where if you're not camping, which is lame, you're gonna get
You
screwed.
hate campers. You really don't like campers.
Well, I mean, if you're working in a group, you got to have at least one. But if you're soloing a lot of the time because of time differential or your friends have different days off, which happens a lot, you're forced to run an intermediate or a rush class. So the larger maps become a challenge.
If and when you do camp, what's your favorite sniper weapon?
It wasn't on this game actually. It was on the two previous. It was the first Black Ops. It was called the Galil,
Hmm.
which is an O'Reilly assault rifle that's semi-automatic, and I could kill snipers from across the board with it without a sight on it, and they're running a full scope. That was probably my favorite one.
Cool. So that would actually
I
be
don't actually
something,
prefer sniper rifles. My
but is that
roommate
something you
Brian
would
is
like to
Mr.
see back?
Sniper. What?
But you'd like to maybe see the Galil come back?
They have a version of it that's a four shot. It's got a different designation, but the accuracy on it isn't. I mean, the
Sucks.
Galil, you felt like you were shooting a blowgun 1,000 yards, and hitting the hair on a monkey's back that you know. So
With a spitball,
right.
right? Um, Gosh. Well, anything else you want to add? What games are you looking forward to that are coming up that are similar to like with Black Ops? What are you
Nothing
looking
at the
forward to?
moment, really.
Now you've been playing some Halo 4 too. You like that?
What sucks?
The online does, huh? Sucks really bad.
Too many dumb options. Not enough
I
loadout
was I was
options.
disappointed in the story, and I don't want to give away any spoilers, but I was disappointed in the way the story ended. I I did a little bit.
Well, I mean, it's a video game. It's got. I mean, ever since FF7, the tragic endings the trendy thing to do, which
Yeah.
everyone falls in line with that. Very few games have gone outside of that um, because it's the cool thing to do. I'm not knocking seven, great game, amazing game, but
No
every
one
once in a
can.
while
Final Fantasy is
you
just
want
a
the storybook ending, even if
yeah,
you're a dude.
yeah. And Final Fantasy is just one of those classic games. Speaking of classic games, my daughter is going to be reviewing some classic games in the next couple of weeks. So I'm excited about that. You may have to deal with a little bit of 5-year-old craziness, but we are very excited to be reviewing some 80s arcade games that we have downloaded on his Xbox because it's really great. I'm not sure how thrilled you are that we've got all those 80s games on there, but
We were actually looking for one while we were
were you
waiting.
really?
Yeah,
They have so many.
we found Mega Man actually.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm going
wow.
more mid '90s
Oh, wow.
because the
Yeah.
'80s ones are just too easy.
Oh, right. Frogger's easy. We
I
still
suck
haven't
at
broken.
Frogger.
We
I played the
still haven't
game
broken
one
a thousand
time
points on
in the
Frogger.
arcade before we downloaded it, and I can't get to the other
I
side.
don't remember the game being that
It's
hard.
difficult.
But I didn't play Frogger a lot as a kid. I
I
was
didn't play Frogger at all.
6. I was no. I would think I was 7 when Frogger originally came out in the arcade. I still remember. Okay, not to put you on the spot. I still remember the last game I ever played in honest to goodness arcade was House of the Dead. Do you remember the last game you ever played in an arcade?
Um,
Like a real arcade. What was your last video game?
a real arcade?
Yeah.
You talking like before Dave and Buster's and all that
Yeah,
stuff?
yeah, yeah. But they don't count. They're restaurants that have arcade games. They don't count. Real arcade, where you just go and had a pocket. You were a teenager. You had a pocket full of quarters and time to waste.
I believe the place was called Great Games,
Hmm.
and it was the two screen side scroller X Men that you could play with up to four people, which is probably the best arcade
Ooh,
party game ever put
yeah.
on anywhere.
I
And I
like.
played Magneto and just annihilated.
I like. That was actually the one that was. House of the Dead was the last arcade game that I played in
When
an
I used to play that
arcade.
at the pool hall with Brian.
But the last arcade game that I played, and that was the last. House of the Dead was the last arcade game that I played in my 20s. But the last arcade game that I played, it wasn't really an arcade. It was a movie theater that had an arcade in it. That's over down on Open Bridge somewhere, I think.
Well, if
I
you want to
forget
go
where.
movie
But
theater
remember when I
slash
was pregnant and
game
I was playing
place,
DDR when I was
the
pregnant.
Star Wars arcade game that's all first person shooter where
Hmm.
you can you know do all the major battles. Um,
That's
I
one
got
that
to
we
the point
played
where
the night we
I
got
could beat that on
engaged.
one play.
Yeah, that was a game we played the night we got engaged. Wow, that's nostalgia for you.
Right.
Um,
It's probably the only game I can get 100% accuracy on
I'm about
anything.
to get misty on it. Galaga.
That's impossible to get 100% accuracy.
No, but I
On the
tell you, you
bonus modes,
must
yes.
hold some kind of national championship
I
thing
doubt
on
it.
that game. I don't know. You've beaten it a lot.
Well, I've rolled it, yeah, but
Yeah.
it's been a long time.
um, in closing, next week I will have a finished object next week because this meeting is probably going to be finished in the next day or two. That may be my only finished object. I will probably have one sock finished on the Euclid's Love pattern. Um, but also in closing, I just wanted to say that I don't know if you heard about it or not.
Yeah.
But there was a major shooting that happened in an elementary school in Connecticut, and there was also a stabbing. 20 something people were stabbed in China today as well, and I believe that was school. Um, that was at a school as well. Both happened today. And our hearts go out to the parents that lost their children today. Quite a few, some adults were seriously injured and passed away, and quite a few children
Well, the
um,
principal, for one.
passed away.
Yeah, he was trying to protect the kids and got shot. The
Okay.
principal got killed, yeah.
Oh, I heard he was seriously injured in the hospital. I didn't know he got killed. He was actually related to Lisa.
Oh, really?
He's her, I think her
Well, I mean,
husband's
that was something I
cousin.
read on CNN, so, I mean, they're not always very 100% accurate,
Right,
so,
right.
you know.
Um, but our hearts do
But
go
he
out
was
to the
on the count, but
families.
hopefully I'm wrong.
Yeah. Well, I know he was injured. Um, but a very, very tragic thing. And there are some people blaming, lack of gun control laws or the fact that,
That's bull. The
people can.
person holding the gun has the choice. The gun just does its function.
Well, I mean, it's just people are going to
It's
do
just
what they're
like
going
hitting
to
a key on a
do.
keyboard, or turning a key in a car, or hitting the brake pedal, or getting on a bicycle.
It's just
The item does its function. It's the person holding it that makes the personal choice to do what they do.
we'll never understand what happened or why. Um, all we can do is offer our support to the people who are little lonelier tonight.
Well, I'm a firm
One less
advocate that
person in their
you need to take
family.
a psych test and probably an IQ test to get a firearm. You shouldn't just be
And
able to
some
have a clean
states, I
record.
think, do that, but it's not about gun control. It's not about um, anything like that. It's about just um, violence in general. It's just sad that children were involved and people lost lives today. Um, so we are thinking
Ignorance and
about you.
environment is how this stuff happens. And if you set an example for your children, and create a good environment and educate them, this stuff won't happen anymore. I blame the parents or just the cycle of society in certain areas of not taking responsibility to rise above the bull plot that's been going on and educate everyone so that they understand the value of human life. And that's what I'm going to end with.
I love you. And that's our show this week. Also, my heart goes out to my friend Heather, who lost her dog yesterday, um, being passed away after struggling with a spinal injury. And he had had surgery and passed away. So, my heart goes out to my friend Heather. And we will see you guys next week. Bye bye.